My name is Amos. I'm yet to get used to this Mr A Chibowa title. I recently got married, which means that I am stuck with a woman for life. That's not easy, but hopefully God is going to help us to sail through. I was once a student at the University of Zimbabwe from 2018 to 2017. I graduated in 2017, which also means that it was Robert who presided over our graduation, which makes me better than you guys. But that's not the topic for our study. Today we are going to focus on courtship and compatibility. Compatibility, that's how can we describe it in our mother language? What is compatibility? So let's talk. As you can see, I don't know British, so I'm going to be using Shona and English. And whenever my English bundle runs out, I'm just going to round everything to the nearest mother tongue. Is that okay?
Amen.
Yeah. So, what is compatibility? What is compatibility? You look serious. You're scaring me. You're scaring me. I'm going to teach you. I think I'll go for it. Okay, there's a verse in the Bible. It's from the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 3. It says, it's a question. It says, can two walk together unless they be agreed. So, I know, do we have any teenagers here? Who's the youngest? How old is the youngest person? so that I know who to know. 18. Okay. So because we have people who are not yet old enough to date, we are going to start from So, marriage is quite serious. Are we together? Marriage is what? It's quite serious. There is a quotation that I like from the book of Adventist Home. I think it's page 70 or 71. It says, unless they, and they is referring to the youth, it says, unless they are diligent students of the Bible, they will make grave mistakes that will mar their happiness, both for this life and for the life to come. Are we together?
Yeah.
Unless they are what? Diligent students of the Bible. And it's funny how the Spirit of Prophecy also mentioned that Satan is a diligent Bible student. Yeah. Go and read the book of Counsels for the Church. It says Satan is a diligent Bible student. So unless you can be as well a diligent Bible student, you are going to make mistakes that will mar your happiness for this life and for the life to come. Allow me also to mention that when it comes to marriage, there is this temptation to think of yourself as an exempted member of society, where you think things that happen to Amos cannot happen to me. Are we still together? It's very, very common to think of yourself as an exempted member of society. It is like, I know where everyone is doing that, is it? But maybe I should throw a question to you, Wakoshi. What's so different? What's so special about you? What happens to me can also happen to what? To you. Are we together? In science, I'm a scientist, sort of. In science, they say that if something is factual, it should be reproducible. Do we all understand? When we say something is reproducible, we are saying kana tikaizambura pamoto nhasi ikadziya mangwana tinofana kuisa pamoto yobva ita sei tobayadziya futi. It means that this experiment is what is reproducible. Are we together? So in other words, when we bring it down to courtship, we are saying that if we use the same formula, we cannot expect different results. Are we together? So, whoever you are, what happened to sister or brother A can also happen to you if you are using the same formula. Are we together? Right. We're going to focus on the groundwork or the preparation for courtship and marriage. Because that is quite important for us to understand and to know. And I might say is, if you are contemplating on marriage, if you're praying twice a day, you should pray how many times now? 4 times. You should double your what? Your prayers. Are we together? Prayer is very important. Are we still together? Why is prayer important? Remember that day when, was it Samuel? Akanzi vakuratidza kuti pavana vaJese ndiana chaita mama anounzirwa vakomana varume chaivo chaivo varume rumhare mighty men of valor achiramba achiti havazovese pane umwe wanaita sei asara. Do you remember the story? And when this guy comes in, ainzi Eliab, Samuel says, Mwari haatarise munhu wemunhu. Are we still together? Anobva endera mberi obva ati, for God, for God sees not as men sees. God sees the heart. Are we still together? So the reason why prayer is important when it comes to courtship and marriage is that there are things that you cannot see. Are we together? There are things that you cannot see, and you need a divine eye to help you. Are we still together? So you need to what? You need to pray for help. It's quite important for you to pray. And also, as part of your preparation, you need to be mature. Are we still together? You need to be what? Mature. You need to be mature. And maturity is not measured by the number of beards on your face.
Amen.
Amen. Are we together? There was yesterday there's do we all know this crazy guy from Russia, Vladimir Putin? Yeah, yesterday he bombed Ukraine. Yeah, in the morning. There's a crisis right now, and there's a looming third world war, which you should pray about whenever you pray. So, what did I want to say about it? I'm forgetting. Right.
Maturity and no beard.
Maturity, yes. So, as you're talking about social media right now, you just type Russia, no story in Russia, Ukraine. So, those who make memes have already started trying to make people laugh. And if you want to see your boyfriend, I'm sorry, cabbage, just ask him what you think about the current situation going on in Russia, between Russia and Ukraine. So, what am I trying to say? Maturity is not measured by the number of beards. Are we together? Age has something to do with maturity, but it doesn't have everything to do with maturity. Are we together? Again, Ellen writes, a youth who is not yet out of his teens is not a fit judge when it comes to the character of Are you there? A teenager cannot safely choose a life partner. Let me repeat myself. If you are 19 and below, you are not a fit judge when it comes to the character of a life partner. Qualities should be done with the help of the parents. Are we together? Right. But as a rule, teenagers, it's good for you to just wait. You won't die. Are we together? Yeah, you won't die. So we are laying the foundation of courtship, the groundwork that is needed. So there is maturity that is needed. You need to be at least 20. This is a statement from Messages to Young People. I think you also find it from the book Letters to Young Lovers. You need to read these books before you get married. In fact, before you start courting, you should read Messages to Young People, you should read Adventist Home, you should read Letters to Young Lovers. Are we still together? Can at least when you come at chapters, before you start involving yourself with one. Right. There's also an emotional preparation that is needed when it comes to courtship. Most of us, we come from damaged families. And by damaged family, I mean a family where there is no true love prevailing there. Are we still together? Most of us, we think we come from proper families because there's a father, there's a mother, and there's a maid, and there's a Savannah. But that is not the definition of a proper family. Are we still together? You can come from a proper family name, Baba, Namai, Nevana, but kumba kwenyu kuri a damaged family. Are we still together? Actually, there's a statement in Adventist Home, chapter 12, the first paragraph there. It says that in most families, hakuna love yekuti munhu yeye tikazomuti adana nemumwe munhu anodanana naye. Did you hear me? Most families, kumba kwenyu hakuna rudo rwekuti tikakudana nemunhu nokwanisa kudanana naye. Are we still together? It's maybe fortunate or unfortunate. Maybe let me leave this part. And then, as part of your preparation, you need to be industrious, especially for the gentlemen. You need to be what? Industrious. It is your duty primarily to feed the family. Are we still together? Marriage and be a porter. Marriage and be a Boza kachiti mbodza nsora mbodza yesadza tora mbodza yemunhu mbodza yemurume atika when you are what industrious, you need to be industrious, you need to fend for the family, unofana wange kutsvaga mari atika, right. And also as part of the groundwork, you need also to measure the time between now and the time that you want to get married. Are we still together? Between now and the time that you want to what? Get married. Kana 10 years yakarebesa. Siyane zvodanga. Titese? Are we together? I'm only paraphrasing the writings of Ellen G. White. Are we still together? Do you know that courtship should not be long? Do you know that? And for the very obvious reasons. I was simbi. Udane munhu nyama and my feelings. Did you know that? Yes. I was nyama. Chlorophyll is not the Holy Spirit. This is not nothing matter. But there are vegetarians who masturbate. Vegetarians who sleep and kiss their girlfriend. My precautionary measures are But courtship should not be what? Should not be long. Time I'm going to show myself, and I have many objectives to cover. So, I'm going to punctuation of this presentation, so courtship should not be what? Should not be long. And as a university student, you are already asking yourself, how long is what? How long is long? But this is a long courtship. Deep down. Yeah, you know that this is going to be a very long courtship. Maybe we do the first year, you are married. Yes, and you got Zimbabwe, I also be a Chibo. Yeah, you are one university. I'm a grant Zimbabwe or Jariwa. Abana and I like the Maringa in the near future. About the first year of the school. But you are already looking for a girlfriend. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? Just ask yourself a question. What are you trying to do? Yeah, so Ellen White also says in the book Adventist Hope, she says this is an area where good common sense is needed. What did I say? Good common sense. I want to common sense here, but good common sense. Find out in Jared's against so that your courtship will be successful. So this is part of the groundwork that is needed. Allow me to read, I think, a few quotations. Right. So what happens when this proper groundwork is not done? And this step, which is courtship and marriage, taken unwisely, is one of the most effective means of ruining the usefulness of young men and women. It goes on to say, no one can so effectually ruin a woman's happiness and usefulness and make life a heart-sickening burden as her own husband. Ladies, are we together? And no one can do 100 parts as much to chill the hopes and aspirations of a man, to paralyze his energies and ruin his influence and prospects as his own wife. That is Adventist Home, page 43, paragraph 1. So, Jerusalem Nengos, teacher said, I took which is right, don't talk story bush. When I read these quotations as a teenager, I have rationalized. I think I'm mature. I'm already in college. I got married at 26. Yeah, I got married at 26. The quotations I had in 18. Yeah. To rationalize, but I was going to right. And I don't know what happened. But I was wrong. Are we together? I was wrong. So, from a point of experience, don't try to rationalize. Are we good in just almost go on? Wakura, which just get a say, doesn't have bad serious. Nakata is time young, Nema love bundles out. And then another quotation, saying here, marriage is something that will influence and affect your life, both in this world and in the world to come. So marriage has terrestrial consequences and celestial consequences. Are we still together? He goes on to say, a sincere Christian will not advance his plans in this direction without the knowledge that God approves his course. A sincere what? Christian will not advance unless he knows what he doesn't marry. Can move with some quotations here, then we move. As few have correct views of the marriage relationship. How many? Few have a correct view of the marriage what? Some of you think that marriage is all about sex, sexual intercourse. Those are making but it's not. Are we there? Marriage is not all about what? Sex. In fact, sex constitutes less than 5% in terms of marriage obligations and activities. Are we there? Kunoendwa kubasa, kunoendwa kumunda, kunofiwa, kunoendwa kumarine. So, marriage is not all about sex. And let that sink. And as a teenager, as a young man, as a young woman, knowing what I but you talk the joke, I am very married, which means I approve. Are we together? Hey. 2 weeks not better, damn. Pastor Banana 6. Must now put on a foot. So, yeah, let that sink. And those who are contemplating marriage, I'm reading from Adventist Home, chapter 6. You should read the book Adventist Home, this chapter 6. As those who are contemplating marriage should consider what will be the character and influence of the home they are founding. As they become parents, a sacred trust is committed to them. And upon them depends in a great measure the well-being of their children in this world and their happiness in the world to come. So responsibility, it lies greatly on you as a parent and especially you as the mother. Are we still together? If you read the book, it's a compilation, it's a small compilation in heaven. It's a book by N.G. White. It talks about heaven, how to go there. And there's a chapter 12, some who will not be there. You know that in the E.G. White writings, there's a list of people who will not be in heaven. Chapter 12, heaven. As Isu Arengasiko. You are to us, one another. Isu Arengasiko. So Arengasiko. King Saul, the first king of Israel. Arengasiko. King Nero, Arengasiko. She raised Nero, made Nero the person we know today, as we know him today. Are we together? So whenever it is saying your marriage relation as two people has much to do with the character or the stem of character on your children. Are we together? Nero's mother will not be in heaven because of Nero and all the deeds that Nero did of cruelty. So, when it comes to the choice of a companion, you need to be very careful. But I'm talking about one neighbor old enough to date. Don't confuse me. That is my teenager. But we have a few exemptions. I think I know serious. But I'm when it comes to dating or to choosing a life partner, you should be very careful. Very careful and very wise. Love is blind judgment. But this is don't listen too much to Westlife. You find you get a distorted view of love. Are we still together? Yeah, love is not blind. Are we together? Love is not blind. Adventist Home, page 45. Weigh every sentiment and watch every development of character in the one with whom you think to link your life destiny. In fact, there is a book on testimonies on sexual behavior, adultery and divorce. You should read it before you get married. Yeah, testimonies on sexual behavior, adultery and what? And divorce. I think it's the first chapter. And you should have an accurate knowledge of yourself. Have an accurate knowledge of yourself and of the character and bearing of young women. And you should have an appreciation of how women function. You should have an appreciation of how what women function. Function as same. Was are we there, gentlemen? So you should have that appreciation. And I want to move to the qualities to be sought in a prospective husband. There are qualities that you need to look for in a prospective husband. But most of us, we are selfish. We want a perfect husband, but we are not perfect ourselves. We want a perfect wife, but we are not what? Perfect ourselves. So about the change up. There are qualities right. So I'm going to summarize. Let's say chapter 6 Adventist form. I want two together. Chapter 6. So number 1 is his life pure. What are we trying to say by truth is his life pure? Does anyone want to expand there? What is God saying when it says is his life pure? Yes.
Pure,
that's right. Okay. So what are we saying? Okay. Thank you. Okay. That's correct. That's correct. What else? Pure. What are we saying? Yes.
Since Jesus was perfect in the sense that you are 100% obedient, so to say, but when someone is living in non-sins, like someone is a robber or adulterer, and not for my reasons, then we might consider that one.
Okay, so he's not involved in any open sin. As far as we can humanly discern, he is pure. Did you say? As far as we can what? Humanly discern. Yeah, right. So that's the first quality. You need to examine. And is his life pure? No bad direction. But can I say what the problem? You could have a command serial church. Not his life. But can I say what the problem? You say, I'm not going to the same kind of Savat. Right. And the second question, and what has been his past history? Why is it important to know the history of command? And nothing is mentioned about history when it comes to women. But remember what has been his past history. Why is it so important? Is anyone doing psychology? Each of you use it. Oh, what's the second part? Was that degrees I find about it? Sorry. Yes.
I think there's a terminology history is a tendency of repeating itself.
Yes.
That's if in history I touch, there is a repeated stuff.
Yes, history is a tendency of what? Repeating itself. As much as we believe the doctrine of righteousness by faith, we believe that people can actually be transformed. Jesus can change people to be saints. We need also to accept Mashoma and change. Now is the way, and straight is the road that leads into what? To eternal life, and few there be that find it. If yes, no doubt, why I ask me for. So, what I don't change, but Mashoma and not change. So you need to have an appreciation of his past history. Are we there? Wapimbo wewe kuna mtu anatufimba atitunyenga azimunyenga mungivo ya mkivo wanga katosizana kugara kwamtaka. I didn't know that. wapigwa kuzangoti 1 week watovhuma. You need to do a background check. What am I getting myself into? Are we together? Vunzao kuti yo wamdana vanhu mangani. Anditi. Yo wamdana vanhu mangani. Makaramba na chii. You should know that. Akuzi kubvunzisa. I-right yako yoyo. Endo kana mnanda kuvhara zvinhu siyana naye. Are we together? I have a sister. I have sisters. So I'm very, very careful in giving advice. I want all of you to be happy, just as I want my own sister to be happy. So usa siane muna ndo kuvhara vhara nyaya, anditi zvinhu ngazvitaurwe zvese. Wakadana nanganiwe, anditi makaramba na chii. When was your first relationship? Have you had sex before? You should know that. Right yako yoyo. Azvire kuti mamwe answers are negative munatorama. You need to do an evaluation with the help of your friends and your godly parents. Yes. This is the profile of the person auya mupenyu wako. What do you think about it? Then they give advice, but the final decision is yours. Final decision there. Yeah, usapi wa mungu nemundu, usapi wa mkazi nemundu. Usapi wa mungu wakoe. Right, and does he have a mother? And what is the relationship between him and his mother? That's a very important question. As my work and what teacher say, I watch television on Sunday. Sunday I was at home with my wife. We were watching television. There is this. My channel is South Africa. Pane program inonzi wife versus mother. Wife, they invite your mother and your wife. It's a cooking show. Your mother then cooks something, your favorite meal, and your wife cooks your favorite meal. You then get blindfolded. You taste both dishes. Over what is out? Abiga is Indian. Abiga is Indian. She don't have a yeah. I think you'll find it on YouTube about wife versus mother. I'm sure my episodes are regarded by YouTube. There's a tendency, you can't see, in more important from my. But if I am not kind to my own mother, who are you? In the long run. It also goes on to say, when the novelty of marriage is over, will he not become dictatorial and overbearing in spirit? There is a novelty of marriage. Like for myself, I got married in June 27, 2021, which means I'm 8 months old in marriage. There's a novelty that is involved with marriage. There's a honeymoon phase. Aufungi kuti munhu azosiya mapesa ari pasi kwenguva yakarembesa. Aufungi kuti zvazoita sei. You don't see any mistakes during the novelty of marriage. But that phase will pass. And then you have to face Amos as Amos. And Esther is Esther. Esther is my wife's name. So, what am I trying to say? Kana munhu asingawirirana namai vake wasingava respect, iwewe forget it. Forget it. And pamwe pacho unofanira kuteerera nenzeve 4 kwete 2. Titese. When I was doing final year at UZ, I was doing pharmacy. There was a lecturer of ours that did Courtship and Cosmetics. IT, I was Dr. Chifama, Dr. George Chifama. IT, imotero boyfriend yako, pamene mchifamba around campus. MaGB. And MaGB ndo wanamona ngewe kutsoka tsoka. Pass, I'm not using it. Regardless of the fact that most of them earn more than your parents. As my GB, but no kutoka tsoka. Anze ngoterera pamuno netsana ma GB kuti mukomana wako anotichi. Kuba munosangana ma GB. Mukomana wako anotichi. Munhu asina respect for my GB asina kumutadzira. Kana iwe nguva yasvika, you will not have respect for him. That should sink. Are we there? So if he is not kind to his own mother, who are you? Just think about it. So these are qualities. Right. And is he manly? Manly. M-A-N-L-Y. Kuna warume wakadzi. You should be very careful. I think they are gay, but are girlish. We are talking about anatomy. We are talking about his character and the way he deals with situations. As munari akasimba, what can I say? Yes, are fragile. He's easily broken. Siana nemurume akadaro. Chitese. Kune varume variva vasiri varume, they don't have many traits of character. As a woman, you want a shoulder to lean on. You need to look up to someone. But if he is easily broken, I think about a panzer. So Jato Rakwanga and Bandri Varume was the at least such a day in front of cats. And the that's shun one who is irreverent, a scoffer of godly things. And the Sierra Comana a reverend cheese, I'm sure. Sarah is a man or woman. As not respect for the prayer meeting, as not respect for church, as not respect for chapel, as not respect even for a Bible study discussion. And a scoffer of godly things, a scoffer who sake and not sake as serious, a bottle of serious. Sometimes too, the way you should judge your man. In Botera, I'm talking about the ceremony apparently. Like Tato Pezzo, however, if you comment at Tato where wasn't theatre as well as Chibowa, come on. Zamboa, I tell you, sometimes I should go up and up, but you knows that you're and a scoffer of godly things. And I'm only saying so you should be careful. Shun one who is irreverent, shun one who is a scoffer of godly things. And a man who is addicted even to the use of one glass of liquor. It's a sad fact, but that's what happens. I have friends who are Adventists who drink. Yeah, they drink beer, not water. So yeah, just do a background check. Yeah, it's said you are but you should do a background check. Those are not. It's not a sign of progressive or the 21st century. Are we together? You all know what I say? When I proposed my wife, it was in 2018, 5 August 2018. Yeah, 5 August 2018. But she got This was 5 August 2018. Then she went away. She was in China for, I think, for a year. But akatora ndakazopiwa kuzuva niko 19 October 2020. Not 2018, sorry. But I remember it took more than 2 months. Could this say this was new? But we're talking of someone that just used it. Yeah, of course she was a junior. She was 2 years my junior. But no, I don't with Amos. And so using association. She knew me, but she took more than 2 months to put her friends and figure out what without check. So, of course, as a man, you start getting impatient. Sharp, wasn't going to tell her. She wanted a bit, but. By the way, we are not. I could not destination here as a woman. We move on. Yes. Right. So many. There's the love sick sentimentalism. Yeah, it's not like that. You need to wake up. Love is not blind. So you need to take your time. Make a background check. Right. Let's move to ladies before we comment. And it's probably go to the second segment of our lesson in compatibility. Time and age. Time and age. Right. And the question that you ask yourself as a man, can she make you happy? Because of feminism and postmodernism, you need to have your inner happiness, you need to have your own happiness, you can't take happiness from another person, blah, 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 which is partly true. But when it comes to marriage, you need to find someone who can make you happy. This is someone who, happiness to the table. Happiness, and then you have your big happiness. Did you get that? Don't look for a problem. Look for someone who can increase your happiness, who will not diminish it but expand it. Are we still together? Kuna askana wakadzima. Dzima zokuti they are what? Because of Kumba and all that, Kumba will damage us. Say, she's just cold. She's just cold, and being cold is not a symptom of holiness. That's not holiness. We need help. Are we still together? Amen. You need to be cheerful. Christianity makes people cheerful. Are we still together? Be a cheerful woman. And being cheerful doesn't mean that you are forward or you are advertising yourself or you are cheapisa. Just be cheerful. Just loosen up a bit. Are we still together? Yeah, so even loosen up. Are we there? So can she bring happiness into your life? That's a question that you should settle before you propose her. Are we together? Right? Is she an economist? Right. I think I need to expand a bit. As is she an economist? Let me give an example. I made the point with the airtime. So now I'm taking airtime, but she said, takadanana kusvika izvozvo. Zvinokubatsira kuona kuti munhu wako munhu akaita sei izvozvo. Titese? Hatisi kuti airtime no standard. But zvekuti zvinhu zvekuti zvinokubatsira kuona kuti munhu akaita sei. The way she uses that airtime. Hatisi kuti iva munhu ano konzvita sei. Kumonita kuti yazofonewa sei oyaita sei. But I'm saying kuti just try and observe over time kuti airtime inotopedza nguva yakaita sei munhu ainayo. Kana akatenga bundle data, example, I know that you can do better things for your girlfriends and it money. But it's just as well take airtime. So zvakandibatsira kuona mari. You see? So you may not have a platform to actually measure the economic here, but just try and devise an experiment. Asusabatwa. You see? Sabatwa. Try and do something for her. Is she an economist? Or is she that kind of person who will not spend all of her earnings and yours? Yeah. But I end up shopping. Right. That's a question that you should settle before you get married. And Israel chapter 6. But the mother needs to have an appreciation of physiology and the laws of our being as human beings. Are we there? Just try and observe what Munga say when it comes to this area of physiology. Does she love children in general? No, one. Is she grounded in scripture? Is she grounded in scripture? Munga say when it comes to church. I think it's easier to go to heaven as a sorry. I think personally, I think it's easier to go to heaven. It's easier for a man and a Christian wife to go to heaven than for a what's the other way around? Than for a man who is a Christian to go to heaven. I am Kansas City Church. Yeah, and it's really where really does the balance lie, but that's just how it is. It's easier for a vegetarian husband to start eating meat because the wife eats meat, but it's more difficult for a woman to start eating meat because the husband does. I think that she can eat. Yeah, so gentlemen, be careful. She may be beautiful, but the result is it's only cabbage, is it a head? Right. I think Patashika, let's discuss before we move on to the next segment. Yeah, be quick with your questions and your contributions. That's all right. Questions, no bad. Yes.
My question, you point out this how like you put it was comparison, I will check. But in general, and this is an observation and then I feel like most guys now are comfortable. Very well, like I see you do my pretty stand. But then sometimes the motorists will also look at the dynamic to change. And this is, I'm not supposed to teach them, which I maybe change. Almost one moment, but they will change.
That's correct. The man should be the priest of the home. If you notice, the Tangana quality is to be such a prospective husband. And I was trying to be hard on the gentleman. And now I'm talking about qualities to be such a prospective wife. And I'm trying to be hard on the what? On the ladies. At least that seeming extremism in presentation of facts, but at least are inclined to doing the right thing. And remember, that change. So So it's very important. The gentleman, please. Yeah, it's your duty to be the priest of the home. You should foster religion in your home. Yes.
Okay. From previous lessons that I have read before, I understand that the marriage is a threefold link between the husband, the wife, and God, since God is not made marriage, right? So before even entering marriage, I want to know exactly where does God come in when from on both sides? Because I understand what you're saying is our duties as the male and female. So how do we then link as in God to make it threefold?
You only walk around with Christ. There's God there. There's God there. And because you are standing at the base of a triangle with two, the closer you get to God, the closer you get to each other. So at some of this from the equation, God is there. Yeah. So we cannot take away God from the equation. Yes, last contribution before the equation.
So you're saying about a lady asks my friends to help the friends confirm the okay, it's very normal. You need my eyes are wonder to confirm if the candidate is worthy of your affection.
Yes.
But also we need to be very careful about our influence. Many people are in miserable relationships and marriages because they are not in trouble for the shaman.
Yes.
Yeah, the hard boys know so sick, boys but yeah, and she makes him happy. But because other boys are shaman. So I think you need a very safe when you want to sense.
Yeah.
But not people who are superficial and frivolous, but people that appreciate about you. Basic principles are when you're choosing a song. I think that one can work.
Thank you. And also, can actually use it. Pane kwaenzi kusundinzira. Do we have any two people out there?
Amen.
Yes. Not an example. Example. But out there, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, just as an example, we have one. Esther is the wife's name. Amos Arula Esther. I don't know Esther about Esther. And then my friends are Amos. Some of whom are female. One of our Esther. Esther now feels good. There is no way out. I think everyone is in approval. Of which this is the deal between myself and my what? And my friends. Some of whom are female. Are we still together? So that's where his comment comes in now. Influence around you, use the common sense. Those are good what? Common sense. And compatibility. Compatibility is a very important thing when it comes to courtship. The fact that we are two Adventist vegetarians doesn't guarantee that we are going to be compatible. Right. So compatibility by definition, and it is the natural ability to live or work together in harmony because of well-matched characteristics. Are we there? Here Benz is perfect. Benz. But Kia Benz is perfect for a BMW. Imperfect. Are we together? So the fact that we are both perfect doesn't guarantee that you are going to be happy together as a unit. It doesn't. very powerful sisters, women of valor. But as we put my face at Mr. Magi, Newe, and they are powerful sisters who are not as vocal as other sisters. Let that sink. And they are powerful brothers who are not vocal at all. It's just quiet is there, but well grounded in scripture. So don't go for someone just because Munwe anotawara church anosimza mawo. Kusimza mawo kutawara kuti ndikuda kutaura something. Kusasimza mawo kwa ndoda nechekutaura. Ndokura ngeni nazo bana zikutaura. Titese? Yes. So be careful papa. Wakomana anosimza mawo kwa anotaura ku church. Wanokufanira. Same applies to Pascal. But you see with compatibility in the long run. As repeat that. I am a sangwe, I talk too much. But I realize with Inini, right? I realized I could not be happy with the sangwe. Are we together? Could you tower? You tower. Atsukuti kuda ndaitsvaga munhu asingatauri wasingadisplay, but kuti there is a level of competition pakutaura inogona kuva irritating. Are we together? So be careful, especially when one has the same personality. Vanhu mukanyanya kufanana spirit pancha problems. You need to be different. Panda variety. Are we together? Yes. Right. I'll just do a random compatibility. Right. And the causes of compatibility, there are 20 points for now. Because I like that 20 minutes. Causes of incompatibility is often about this one in the Savage. Whenever I think it's enough one common church, I don't tell you that not tender will believe the truth. It's not enough. Are we together? It's not enough. People are not happy with Zimbabwe. Never remember Savada and tenders are not tender, not as Masada and tenders are not tender. Number one, if you have different ideas surrounding, we have different spending habits. And that can cause problems in marriage. Are we together? We have different what? Spending habits. Kune vakadzi vanofamba vachiti varume havapi vakadzi mari. Vamwe vacho makaonekwa kuti hamugoni kushandisa mari zvakanaka. Saka murume akuita kunge ari kunyima but ari kuchengetedza mari for the greater good. So different ideas surrounding money can cause my splits or my marriages. Are we together? So just check. Really, what we not discuss. Courtship should not be too long, but it should be long. It should be long enough to do whatever. Are we compatible or not? Are we together? And I always tell my friends who are not married. Kuti, I want to go to Kuti. What did I say? Of course, I can't. But whatever we talk about is serious. Discussions, serious discussions as a couple. What do you think about this? Then you argue, you reach an agreement. The way we are running our family right now, myself and my wife, most of the things that we are doing, Kaisi matambo yoenda kuona enda uchaona mnaendana newe uenda kwa anaenda na mnaenda se anaenda naye. So different ideas surrounding money can be a problem. Number two, different senses of humor. So now patara sasa ukipile ni wa very cold. Akagodzima, they don't find anything funny. They are just Serious. They're just gloomy and whenever I was gloomy, I'm actually right, but I'm also saying, are we together? That can be a problem, especially if you're somebody who takes, who measures love by how much someone approves. So I looked at all my jokes are. Are we together? But there's a time when you want to talk to someone, I don't tell you. Yes. So if someone doesn't find you funny, or ask you tell us that might be a problem. So find someone because if you cannot laugh together, you cannot cry together. What's the chance? So be careful. And number 3, you have vastly different schedules. Because in college, it's a controlled environment. Some of you, most of you are going to be hustlers, and you need to come to terms with that. You are Zimbabwe, right? As a hustler, you don't have a work schedule fixed. Time you own a hustler fit. Are we together? My wife works from home. I work an 8 to 6 job. Yeah, an 8 to 6 job, a regular job. My wife works from home. It's no problems when it comes to schedules. But when my schedules are that can be a problem. Is the dreams are not what opinion relationship. Those who are 7 years of farmer, what I say, what's the other name? Which is bad. It's not for me to go around the moon. I is divorce. You're not even married. They don't know you. My books are away marriage. You I got. And it's better to break an unwise engagement than to divorce. Read chapter 6 at the list to come. Number 4, and say you have different definitions of relaxation. That can be a problem. Can I do a Netflix in? Can I do a Netflix? And my wife wants to go out. We can have problems. Because we are not relaxer. I show on TV. In the relaxer, you are fishing or whatever. You see, so different definitions of relaxation can cause problems in marriage. So you need to be careful about that. This will apply obviously to those who are married, but it's a cause of incompatibility. As you have different sex drives. It's not a deal breaker, but you need to agree. Are we together? Yeah, we can't expand. You don't know. And you have different self-care and health habits. Ice cream. Especially someone who uses it, it may not be a deal breaker, but you need to be what? Careful. You need to also assess the attitude of your partner towards showering well. What does my girlfriend think about me eating meat? And what do I think about her being vegetarian? Am I aspiring to go there? Or is she aspiring to come here? Of course it's wrong, but you need to assess yourself. It may not be a deal breaker, but you need to do what? very careful. Aungadani nemunari a violent opposer of vegetarianism when you are a staunch defender of vegetarianism. Are we together? You can't. It will not work. It will not work. So you need to be very careful. I know people who are married. Happy. Yeah, but when one from the side your yeah, make an effort. How to get make an effort for the sake of happiness. You can also expect a whole reform for the sake of happiness. Make an effort. How to get yes. You have different outlooks on life. Outlooks on life, we're talking about whether someone is a pessimist or an optimist. But when a situation is presented, what do you see? Do you see everything wrong, or do you see something to be, something to appreciate a situation? I'm driving with my wife. I'm usually the pessimist, unfortunately. In a very long drive, like no drive or I don't like that. I think people should drive proper for the safety of everyone. And whether you're going to be very disappointed, like what I usually do. So, the problem is that yeah, that's what they say. What's the advice? And my wife finds that unnecessary. Even she's an optimist, and I totally thank God it could have been worse. If it were not for this idiot. Do you get what I'm trying to say? These are real life situations. So you need to be very careful in terms of your outlooks on life. Are you a pessimist? Is he an optimist? Is there a balance? So you need to be very careful about it. It may not be a deal breaker, depending on the severity. How often, to what extent. So these are things that you should assess when you are courting before you get married. I'm going to say, to me a picture, to me a you should have these discussions. How together. And you should observe and listen in 4 years. As you have different types of intelligence. I think I will not expand on this, but or maybe let me just. Most of us are trying to invest with one man. Like in investment, that's not pass to what extent. I didn't care. 51 was okay. 51%. My wife is different. Munari ambitious. She's not content with 86%. Yes. She was one of the best students who used it. In the faculty of arts. She was doing linguistics. Yeah, she was even chosen right out of China for a postgraduate 1-year course because she was one of the best. Yeah. Man knows that I have 86%. So I realized that this is a good way. And I'm not Meshkoro. In 2019, I enrolled for a master's with Chibowa University. The reason why I enrolled, I always wanted to do a master's, but not as early as I did. But when I realized I need to do a master's, just in case. Just in case, because you don't know what to say when they get more educated. You may be getting more money, but and educated people, they tend to look down on people, even if they themselves don't have money. The people are looked at as So I did a master's, just in case. I didn't need it. Just in case. So, just try and observe. And it wasn't a deal breaker for me. But I found a solution. Because 2019 for me, but the school fees, it was nothing. And sometimes it comes at little to no cost to you. So different types of intelligence can be a cause of incompatibility. Then there's a different type of emotional intelligence because of no area. Then you have different ways of expressing yourselves. That can be an issue, called incompatibility. Expressing yourself when you want something. You know what I'm trying to say? Pane chikafu ere vanga vabika vanhu 3 ava vataura vari kudasadza vese but vachiexpressa nenzira yakasiyana and the tone itself inotaura kuti uri kuzviexpressa nenzira yakasiyana. So kune vanhu vanongoti I don't care as long as I kana munhu azvinzwa taivativa is that you Pastor Aaron?
Sure.
Pastor Aaron takasangana ku for the first time in 2014. Yeah, so I know him. You are in safe hands. Right. Learn to express yourself properly. But you should get to a point where you acknowledge that some people are already damaged to the point where they are going to can you manage or can you not manage? It's not divorce, are we together? Right. And people change, but really, let that sink. Right. And you have different arguing styles. Like myself and my wife, we have different arguing styles. I don't want a military. No one is soft. But is it to argue? It may not be a deal breaker, but if it happens often, it can be a deal breaker. So either you manage the frequency, it can arguments higher, or you try to adjust the way that you argue. Are you together? So you have different political views. This is a very important point. You have different what? Political views. There are people in here who are convinced that ZANU-PF is doing the right thing. And there are people in here who are convinced that I think another political party is not bad. And mukasangana muri two. Depending on the frequency and severity and the extent of your arguments, you're not going to put inside. So at least try to be I'm not going to align now. And usually my political views are not religious views. Was what we define as sin or what we define as wrong. My religious views are sin. So we need to be very careful about it. Right. So different political views can be a problem. And you have different alone time requirements. Mwanda urara, mwanda kufamba, mwanda walk, mwanda move. So how you manage your alone time is very important. And you have different religious views. This is very important. Very, very important. Especially when religious views are very, very important. And for you as an Adventist, religious views should actually match. Are we together? If I'm going to say religious views. Let us turn up as page 86 or page 87, paragraph 3. You know, to unite yourself with an unbeliever is to place yourself on Satan's ground. And it goes on to say that the road to eternal life is steep and rugged. Take no additional weights. And by additional weights, she's referring to the unbelieving spouse. Are we two together? And it goes on to say, my sister, unless you want to have a home where the shadows are never lifted, do not unite yourself with an unbeliever. And she goes on to say that, can you afford, this is the question, can you afford to do such terrible odds against you in the battle for eternal life? That's a question. We have sisters in here who are dating non-Adventists. They themselves are Adventists, but they are dating non-Adventists. Those relationships need to be dissolved. Are we two together? Siana those she ended. And I always argued. Nisha married are good things. English the one in church. Church is our Dakakuna. Muno. Pascal Mesa. Who are common Mesa. Adventism is like a spectrum. You put it from the coldest to the hottest. Mfunza kuti iwo washaya here. Waunonda pa spectrum yese. Atina kuti mwana kuuse it. Vasikana vaone kuuse it chete. Vakomana vaone kuuse it chete. Let me be very clear. Just paakadzoka maybe 24 year dance. Akatuma vatumwa vake kuti gather my saints from the four winds of the earth. Which means God has children all over the world. So God's children cannot be confined to a place that is called Reset. Are we two together? So how can you go to share and use it with the share? So the author is not Adventist. Yes. We should not date unbelievers. And an unbeliever, I'm AFM. I'm serious AFM. They are equal load. That's an evil king. Let me explain. An unbeliever is not a person who doesn't believe at all. An unbeliever is not a person who does not believe at what? At all. An unbeliever is a person who does not believe present truth. Are we together? And if you don't know what present truth is, you should not date at all. Because so present truth is the truth for this time. If someone believes present truth, then they have stepped up to the platform and they are now a believer. So just say, as I believe in present truth, and present truth includes the Sabbath, the law of God, the three angels' message, the sanctuary message. That's present truth. I'm forgetting. But the type of that EW for any writing, EW present truth, you will find a definition of present truth. But children present truth. Muslims are believe present truth. For whatever reason, I believe, I fear believer. But for now, they are in what? An unbeliever. Are we together? So if they don't share the same religious views with you, yeah, for your own safety and for your children's safety, but you are also Jesus. You're not Jesus, you're not the Holy Spirit. You cannot change hearts. In closing, you have different texting styles. And this applies usually for a long distance relationship. I was in a long distance relationship for 11 months, so I now understand these things. Takasvika pakunzwisana tinotexta sei and tinofonerana often kana matexta itaze achinetsa kunzwisisa nekuinterpret. So you need to be very careful. Take time to read psychology. Are we together? Take time to read psychology. Not batsira kuza kudana nevanhu kuti vanodana nevana sei. Andisvika zvinokubatsira. As you have different family goals, one under 6, one under 2. Like kumbakwedi isusu takazwa tri 2. Maya mwana wana 2. I'm the youngest. Kumbakwe mtsikana wangu vakazvarwa vari 11. Angakawanda kumbakwa. And of course isusu ila hatina ma different family views. Isusu 3-2. But ndukuti let's say auye ari munhu ane maviews akadaro. Into maviews ekutaiwa wana 2 vanenge vakatoti wandisei. Panokuwa a problem. You see. It also goes even panyaya dzekuti how do we handle the extended family. Tinogona kugara nevanhu here isusu. Can we stay with people? Togona kugara nemunina wako panapa. Togona here kugara nekuchengeta munhu. Can we adopt a baby here? Toti mwana ataza kumubuda. Can we adopt a baby? Family views. Those things should be settled before you go further. Right? You have identical personalities. You should not put yourself with it. You should be careful. And one partner is true to themselves while while the other isn't. And one gari munari shari do jauto one do jato. One gari they are too careful about revealing too much about themselves to know about some problems. Just be open. Be an open book. Adam and Eve, they were naked. Why one Anna? True and say that. Adam and Eve were naked. And so they were literally naked. Very true. But I think we can also draw a lesson that there was some kind of transparency between Adam and what? And Eve. So you have a shady character. You have an open. And you have different love languages. Most of the 5 love languages. No bad no bad something. I'm saying. Love language basically is how someone interprets love. Example, in India, my love language is words of affirmation and quality time. I want quality time. Quality time, I was Uganda, you wait on TV or whatever. Uganda, what you tell like exchanging Singapore, that's quality time for me. My wife, another love language, it's acts of service. Acts of service, don't take so she interprets that as love. So we are more inclined to speak our own love language. Which means in India is another quality time. Don't know quality time. But here I have to also not about it. Can also get complaints. So you need to know someone's love language, which you can to then my point is I'm going to be then she may also have a portion of Mufana who settle on Satma. But then the history. History of portion, you need to know history. And usually this applies to the gentlemen. Ladies usually don't mind getting a husband who is a virgin or not, because it's difficult to tell anyway. But the gentlemen, that's just how it is. I'm not saying it's okay, but that's how it is. So, but as a man, I would advise, make peace with these things. Kuti, if I am to find out what Buna has, am I willing to accept it as such? What am I going to do? Are we together? Yeah, make peace with these things. Kuti just what I say, just what I'm saying. And the one happens out, the one I need was just a battle. So, as soon as I say vision, I want to go, and the happiness of a marriage does not hang upon a thread of iron. Virginity is important, very important, but let it not be the only thing. So keep yourselves pure, keep yourselves in the Lord.